Happy Friday.
Happy Storybook Free Day.
Can you guess who we are? We are Pete the cat. Just a perfect character for kindergarten. We will take these off though so you can hear us. But yes, we are Pete the cat. Happy Friday. We just wanted to share our week with you. This week, our reading goal was for students to understand that text and pictures or illustrations are connected. And they were very successful in that. We will continue working on that throughout the year, but it kind of led in perfect to our writing, which we worked on our opinion writing this week. And oh my goodness, we are just such proud teachers.
I have to say, it was one of my proudest moments as a teacher to try independent writing first quarter. It's something that's unheard of, and they did it. They were rock
amazing.
stars. I was so proud of my class. All of them wrote an entire sentence by themselves. They used the resources that we have available for them, such as sight words and sight word lists available, as well as just as their sound and go spelling.
Writing can be very intimidating for children. And so this week we spent the entire week just modeling and talking about it. And then yesterday, we let them do it on their own. And we even went back a little bit and we revised and edited our work. And we learned that to revise means to make better. And they were so successful. Oh my goodness. So here's an example.
This is an example of one. This one, this person wrote, I like to go to the taco shop. And you can see she's eating tacos, and that's quite a big.
So the illustration and the text are connected.
And she used her sound and go spelling, talk gop, because she doesn't quite know the sh for the diagram for sh yet, but she used. It was amazing. I was so proud.
So proud. A great idea would be to keep a journal at home. Encourage your child to write at home independently, and when they ask you how to spell a word, ask them to stretch it out and write down the sounds they hear. It doesn't matter if it's spelled correctly.
And one of the things, I don't know if you do it, I never spell a word for my kids, ever. I will happily help them stretch out a word. So if they say, how do I spell horse? I will say, horse. What sounds do you hear? First, I ask them what sounds, but then I'll stretch out the sounds for them, but I won't tell them the letters. And that really helps them develop the skill to stretch out the word and
independently.
And each individual sound.
Our math goal this week was to continue to compare. Last week we compared to talk about greater or fewer and less, but this week we moved to measurement and we compared different heights, and we talked about how when things are taller they go this way,
like a building,
like a skyscraper, and then longer like a snake, because that can get tricky for kids. But they really have loved walking around the classroom, measuring things with we did yarn, we did pencils and popsicle sticks, and we just use non-standard units of measurement in kindergarten.
And we also put items in order of length and height. And we talked about how all things have to start at the same spot. Or at the same starting point. You can't measure things if one's up here and one's up here. So that really
they enjoyed this.
They did.
Yes. It has been great getting to talk with all of you during our conferences. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day and chatting with us. We enjoy getting to know families a little bit more, especially this year since we don't get to see you at our door. But thank you for joining us in conferences. If you have not scheduled it, please do so soon.
And
sight words.
Sight words, yes.
During the conferences, we've had lots of families ask, what are some things that we can do to help our child at home with sight words? And last week we talked about how you can take a whiteboard and write the sight word and then erase just one letter without showing them, and then see if they can figure out what's missing. Or another great one would be to cut up the letters and have them arrange them to make the word, and then say mix it up and fix it and put it back together.
And you can use those magnetic letters as well to do that. That's an easy resource to have at home.
And then another question we have been noticing is how to read with your child at home. So something that we wanted to mention is with comprehension. What can you do at home when you read your child a book?
And comprehension is a skill that we work with all year long because it is such a vast standard. And one of the things you can do is to first ask lots of questions, and not questions questions that are going to be answered with a yes or no. Ask questions where they have to use the text as a reference. And things like, who are the characters? Where's the setting? What happened in the beginning of the story? Can you retell the whole story?
And allow them to go back in the text, because that is important. They don't have to memorize
No.
it. They should be able to, we call that text evidence, locate that in the text.
Yep. How did the character feel when a big event happened? What was the problem or solution? Those kinds of things. If the more you talk about them, the easier it will be for them to be able to discuss them and master those standards.
We also noticed kids are talking about IXL. So if you are having your child do IXL at home, thank you so much. They seem to enjoy it. They're excited about it. Thank you very much.
And you have
the
got the
last one
greatest
is
quote.
Student quote of the week. So every time we read a story, at the end of the story, we always say, give that book a round of applause. And the story we were reading was Spookily the Square Pumpkin. And so instead of doing a round of applause, one child said, well, wait, why don't we do an oval of applause or a hexagon of applause or a square of applause? And so now every time we read a story, now we pick the shape that we want to applaud the book for. Well, we hope you all have a safe weekend.
Yep.
And thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. And reminder, no school on Monday.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.